assault today. And if you are a parent of a teenager, and especially if you're a parent of a teenage boy, you 100% need to listen to this from start to finish. Um, Today, I was on a ski gondola. I was trapped above the air on a gondola with four teenage boys who smelled so bad. So you got to teach your sons that they smell bad and they need to do something about that. You need to wash their clothes. Um, and I don't normally listen to music when I'm going up the gondola for a variety of reasons. I'm saving the songs for the thing. So I had my helmet music off. And all of a sudden, I heard one of the boys talk about, should I masturbate to this? And he showed his friends something on his phone. And I thought, what? Why is he talking about this when I'm in here? That's not appropriate. And then I looked at them closer and I realized they were all about 13 or 14 years old. So if you live or were in Jackson, Wyoming today, and you have a son who was skiing with three of his other friends, and one of those kids looked like the redheaded kid from A Christmas Story, if any of you know who I'm talking about, make sure this video gets to them because those boys sexually assaulted me today. And they don't know that it's not normal what they did to me. And they spent the whole gondola ride talking about what they were masturbating to and making the noises of how they were coming. And eventually, not eventually, within like seconds, I was like, I'm turning my music on. I put Beyonce on. I'm staring out the window. I'm like trying to get the fresh air in. And then the gondola stops. And now I'm really trapped in a very small compartment with four teenagers. And all I can think about is taking my ski boot and making sure their penises never work again. And what I'm going to do if they try to attack me, which they already were just by discussing this and not knowing how not normal it is to talk about this in public with a stranger, with a woman who cannot leave. There was no part of them. I'm so mad that this happened. I'm so mad that this happened that parents aren't talking to their kids about normal and healthy ways to express their sexuality. So they are learning from the internet and they are learning from each other. And that is what makes the Brock Johnsons of the world. That's what makes the rapists of the world. So if you are a parent, if you have a teenager, you have got to learn how to have a conversation with your children about healthy ways to express sexuality, or I will destroy their penises. I was frustrated with myself because I didn't know what to do and I froze. And I'm a 42-year-old woman, but I'm not a parent. For a reason, I don't want to teach children how to behave in this world. I have no interest in that. That's your job if you're a parent. So I turned my music up and I pretended I couldn't tell what was going on. And I called my mom about this later, and I was really crying about it. 'Cause I was so triggered as someone who has been raped, as someone who has been sexually assaulted, and didn't realize it until years later when I had the language for, oh, I didn't want that to be happening, and it happened anyway. I didn't want this to be happening, and it happened anyway. And I thought about my options. I could have taken my phone out and started recording them. And at the top of the ski lift, I could have gotten out and gone to the ski lift instructor and said, you need to get ski patrol to those four boys. We need to call the police. We need to call their parents. And we need to let their parents know that these boys do not know how to behave appropriately in public. But I didn't. I just pretended it wasn't happening. And I was mad at myself for that. And I was like, okay, what are my options here, really? Because I'm stuck in a room with outnumbered with four teenage boys. And if I had to fight back, I would, but I don't want to. I don't want to invite that in. So just get through this, 15-minute gondola ride, get to the top of the mountain, ski it off, And also, I had to go teach yoga right afterwards. It was at the end of the day. And I was like, any reaction that I have is going to take time away from me doing my healing work in the world. And I just want to go ski and teach yoga. I don't want to hear about what teenage boys are masturbating to. Who has not taught these boys not to discuss that when people are around? Why aren't you talking about this with your children? You need to learn how to talk about sexuality with your children. So I finished my ski day. I ski it off. I get to my car. I burst into tears. And I'm like, I got to go teach yoga right now. I got to get my shit figured out. I got to get my shit figured out in the next 20 minutes as I'm driving to the yoga studio. So here's my best tip for when you are triggered by the world. This is why I love tapping. EFT, emotional freedom technique. If you don't know about tapping, there are very official ways to do it. I don't think I do it in any sort of official way. I'm not trained in it in any sort of way. I've just picked things up over the years. But you're essentially tapping different acupressure points and you're repeating to yourself the truth that you need. And what I needed to hear right then is I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And you're rewiring your brain as you're repeating this message to yourself. Even though I didn't feel safe then, I am safe now. I am safe now. I am safe now. Even though I wasn't safe then, I am safe now. And I was tapping myself as I was crying to my yoga studio, and it slowly started to regulate me. And it's just one of these really interesting, kind of like, it almost seems silly when I do it. It almost seems silly that it works, but it 100% works as a way of resetting your body. It's like a Control-Alt-Delete for your nervous system. When your nervous system is triggered and it feels unsafe, EFT tapping and repeating the reality of affirmations to yourself. I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. Truly is one of the quickest ways that I found when I really need to get my shit together. But you parents out there need to learn how to help your children channel the very normal sexual urges into healthy and normal behavior, because this was not healthy and this was not normal. And one of the things my mom asked was like, were they acknowledging you at all? And I was like, one of the boys kept looking at me to see my reaction. And she was like, they were looking for a reaction from you. So you did the right thing by not reacting. But that just kills me, because that means that I have to be tolerant of abhorrent behavior. And I will not tolerate it next time. I will ruin your son's penis and make sure it never works again. All right? Okay, friends. I hope you have a beautiful night. Bye.